Hello, everybody, and welcome to your 1-1 and 1-11 light codes, portals, and activations tarot reading. This reading is definitely intended for those of you who are spiritually awakened or those of you who are awakening. It's just a reading that's more soul based. So if you're not super soul, you're not, you don't identify as a star seed, a light worker, an indigo, an empath, or like you have a mission here with humanity, this reading probably won't resonate with you very much. This is very intended for those of you who are on a spiritual path this lifetime, whether you're just awakening to that or you're well versed in that. So I'm going to start the reading off by looking at all the new light codes that are being projected to us through the 1-1 portal. And then I'll break this off into an interactive reading to see how the 1-11 activation is going to personally impact you, okay? And right before this reading, as I was preparing for it, the song Love Me Like You Do by Ellie, I think it's Goulding or Goldie, was just filling my mind. I'm like, what is this about? Like the song was haunting me. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to listen to it to see what's going on with this. And as I was listening to it, I got chills and I was like, oh, okay, I see, spirit. So I recommend you guys to listen to that song. I've linked it below, and I want you to separate any sort of romantic connection with that song, like not see it as a romantic song whatsoever, and see it as a song from your own spirit, like directly to you, like what your spirit is saying to you about this 1-1 portal that's bringing forth these new light codes, as well as your spiritual journey throughout 2020. It's time for each and every one of you to wake up all the way to who and what you are, your divinity, your spiritual mission, your life mission, your home frequencies, the depth of, your soul, the height of your being, of your home collective, all of these wonderful energies where they're always present, but there's just it could be the different eclipses we have going on in 2020 or all the new light codes coming in, but there's a different essence for 2020 for me, where it's more of an awakening time for everybody worldwide. It's already happening. Different things are coming to light and big changes are happening, some shocking changes. And I don't want to get into politics and all of that, so I'm not going to give any specific examples, but there is a lot going on in the world, a lot of truth coming to light and major changes starting to happen. And so that's worldwide, but that's also within each and every individual walking this planet. And those of you who are meant to have a spiritual journey this lifetime, very awakened, aware, wise, tapped into your soul wisdom, it's time to really wake up to the depth of what you are and what you're here to do and what you can bring, because I just see a lot of growth for each and every one of you, just huge expansion for each and every one of you. So let's pull, and this certainly isn't all of the light codes, but we're going to pull 3 strong light codes that are coming in, being projected to us through this 1-1 portal. What it's all about, what it's going to teach us, and just depending where each and every person is on their journey and with their current soul evolution is how deeply these new light codes are going to impact. First one out is we have Kundalini Rising, Ignite Your Passion for Life. Now, this is a card 22. 22 is a master number. And, the Kundalini Rising, this really is, to me, talking about light codes being projected to where you are awakening to the depth of who you and what you really are, even as crazy as it may seem for some of you, because those of you, this is just an example, that identify as a star seed. I'm sure most of you, when you first came across that term, it may have chimed in your soul, but in your mental body, in your logical mind, you were probably like, well, is that a bit too out there for me? Things along that line, or just different belief systems or information that's being brought to you. It could be like, oh, is that, that really does resonate inside, but man, that just kind of seems out there. This light code coming through is where it allows you that expansion. So what seems like out there actually becomes your reality, your norm, your understanding, and like 100% a part of you, because it isn't out there. It's, part of the truth of humanity and what we're capable of and what this is really all about. And, right now, we're in a period of amnesia. I mean, if you just look across the world, all the megalithic structures that are standing today. I know there's hot debate whether it was aliens that did it, ancient aliens, or if there was different peaks of the human race. Me personally, just based upon my research, I feel it was the heights of past races of man, like the previous root races of man. And as we move through the Milky Way and we move through the different energies and we move through the cycles of time, different things come back to us. We're waking up, we're remembering. And even Atlantis, that has been something Spirit has just been putting so in my face. I can't turn away from it. But again, I was just kind of like, well, is it a myth tale that has some spiritual meaning behind it, or is it a real place? And I just have to say, when Spirit's trying to bring something to you and you accept it and you open up, it's like boom, 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 boom. Information after information after information will come your way. And it led me all the way to a recently released CIA document that was previously classified, released due to, the Information Act. And it's talking about Atlantis, and it's talking about, pole shifts and all these things that are just conspiracies or myths. And now, that could be some potential evidence of, wow, that did exist. Why is it being hidden? Because that's the time we exist in, is so much was hidden from this particular race of man. And there's all kinds of conspiracies and thoughts about why that is. I don't want to get into that. I don't say I disagree with things are hidden. I agree with that. But the why, I just don't want to get into the why, but things are hidden. And now things are starting to slowly come to light, and, information is everywhere. And, obviously not across the world, but in many parts of the world now, you're free to believe what you want to believe and practice any sort of religious belief that it feels right for you. And that was not always the case, but that's like a time or a sign of the shifting of the changing energies of all things coming to light. And this here, the Kundalini rising, that being a light code, it's like the ultimate activation inside of you, leading you to your ancient self, the depth of your soul. And I know there's no ending or no beginning, but there feels like some beginning point in this in which you're being led back to, because being led back to that point, it's like the experience that you gained in that lifetime. Because this is not involved with this lifetime, I promise you that. It's work you've done in the past. It's like that part of you is being turned on. That's what this light code is about. It's for you to remember, for you to wake up, for you to be able to access that part of your soul, of your Akashic record. All right, next out, we have the secret temptation, being led astray. Oh, this being a light code coming through is really going to help you as well as others weed out all the falsity that is out there in existence today, all the red herrings, because there are so many religions, there are so many different beliefs around spirit and the afterlife and what we're here for and what this is all about. And, it's not really, this reading isn't to debate or say this particular thing is true or that particular thing is true. But this light code coming through is leading you to the truth that is right for you. It doesn't mean that it's right for everybody. In fact, what different people resonate to as their truth has everything to do with where they're at in their soul evolution. So if you find yourself resonating with something that is just not very heard of, or new information you feel being channeled to you from spirit, you need to go with that. Just because not a lot of people are talking about that, not a lot of people believe that, or it's never even been heard before, that doesn't mean that you're wrong and that you don't know. And I feel like many of you out there receive so many divine messages from spirit about evolution and truth, and you just kind of, sweep it aside because it's not what's popular, what's really talked about, or would I be shunned? And the truth is, you're given that information for a reason. It's about soul evolution and where you are, and there are other people on that vibe that will resonate with that information that you receive or that you've heard from somewhere else, and it's just part of the journey right now. It doesn't mean it won't shift or change or that it's the absolute truth, but for right now, today, that's what you need. You need to vibe there to get to the next step. And I'll give you a really good example of this. In my awakening, when I was first awakening, probably around 10 years ago, a little bit longer or so now, there was a particular YouTuber that I really resonated and connected with. And oh my gosh, everything she talked about, she just activated my soul. She made me remember, she triggered so much inside of me, and it just helped me on my journey. And at the time, everything she said was like solid gold to me, okay? Because that's where I was at, my soul evolution. And then as I began to evolve, I realized I didn't resonate with her and her message so much anymore. And that's not to say like that she's wrong or anything. It just means she gave me what I needed for my part of my journey, and I needed that piece. I got it, and now I was ready to evolve into something else. And I'll go back occasionally and just look at her stuff, and I don't resonate there anymore. But I don't feel like she was wrong because she's part of my roots of today. And so for you guys, you've got to trust yourself and also allow yourself to evolve beyond your current belief system. If you're really being pulled, but you're like, that doesn't resonate or reconcile with what I've already learned, that's okay. It's all about different steps of evolution, and through that you learn new stuff and you see the world in different perceptions. And those of you who have really been on this journey for a long period of time, you're very awakened. You could leave your story of that, how you start one place, and as you evolve and grow, like you just come into a whole different belief system and understanding and feeling and perception. So right here, go with what resonates for you right now. You're going to be triggered into some new belief systems. Don't push them away if they don't reconcile with what you currently believe and understand. Say, okay, I'm going to open my mind to this. Where are you trying to take me, Spirit? Where is this leading me? And also with this, even if, somebody you really, really admire and adore and you feel is a divine vessel, even such as myself, if, what they're saying doesn't vibe with you, that's your like flag. It's time to go. It doesn't mean that they're bad or wrong. It just means you've gained all you need from this particular person. And it's time for you to move on. And no matter how attached, how much they've helped you, allow yourself to evolve. That's really what this is about. It's time to evolve, time to awaken and remember who and what you truly are, and tap into that Akashic record to pull all of that wisdom, experience, and talent forward now into 2020, as well as expand into, entirely new belief systems that feel foreign, but that's your next step. All right, let's pull the third light code. And look at, this is number 11. Love it. That's my number for spirit. We have this major activation happening on 111. Card 22 mirroring over on the other side is 11, and it is dark night of the soul. Life brings new meaning. Now, everybody who goes through an awakening, like some people are definitely born into this life just of the higher vibration, having a different understanding. There's really no awakening. It's just always there. And then there's the majority of us where you are you live a normal life. You could be quite spiritual or, be empathic, have a spiritual gift, but it's just you're more there's a difference of being awoken and just kind of living your life asleep. And I don't know how to even define it really. But there comes that moment where you reach for more. Spirit just shows up in your life, and it's like, okay, it's time. Your journey is shifting, your life path is turning. It's time to awaken to a different part of you. And in that process, dark night of the soul accompanies it. And dark night of the soul is where every layer of you is peeled back, peeled away, to get to that divine essence of what's inside, the full awakening and remembrance of your spirit, of your mission, of your home frequencies, those of you who identify as being a star seed. Now, dark night of the soul can be quite intense. Okay. Some of you that are just awakening, this light code with 1-1, the 111, like activates your dark night of the soul process so that you can shed and purge and heal and, rise into like your true essence. And from that space, life is just a whole different experience than anything prior. Others of you who are very awoken, you've already been through that dark night of the soul. There's different elements of your empathy and compassion that are going to be activated with this light code, because you're going to offer advice, counsel, healing, all of those things to different people who are beginning to awaken and move through that dark night of the soul process and journey. And all of you who have been through it, you already know it shakes you to your core. Just for me personally, I will tell you, as I started waking up to spirit and choosing spirit and like no longer watching TV shows, just thirsting for knowledge, thirsting for spirituality, thirsting for understanding. A lot of my relationships in my life started to fall away, including my very long-standing romance, the person that I believed I'd be with for my whole life. I just started changing so much. We separated, we broke up. Everything in my life kind of stripped away. Everything down besides my 2 children. Like, that's all that remained. I lost my home, my job, my car, even my dog got ran over. It was horrible. And then after that is like this 5-year period of solitude and loneliness and facing every single shadow within till I could be strong enough to overcome it. And through that process, just so much awakening and understanding and connecting with spirit and remembering. And so right there, some of you're about to go into that process. And as you experience that, don't think the universe is against you, or like, oh my gosh, I'm living my life better than I ever have. Why is all this crazy stuff happening? It's because the layers are being peeled back. The things that aren't meant to go forward with you at this, next juncture of your journey. And believe you me, you will rise like the phoenix from the ashes after that process. And the rest of you, I really feel like Spirit's awakening you to be a beacon of light for these people who are starting to go through this dark night of the soul. And you're going to be receiving a lot of channeled information about why and the purpose of and what they're going through. All right, so let's pull some cards to look at the light, like the positive aspect of these new light codes coming in. The ultimate, long-term positive effect. And look at, we got 3. How perfect is that? So we have a pleasure coming through with this Kundalini rising. We have inner peace coming through with this secret temptation. And lastly, we have embracing with a dark night of the soul. So the end goal of this light code, and look at that, stepping through a portal, the remembrance, the true divinity in which you are, which brings you happiness like you've never known. All right. And also in this place of remembering what comes to you and what you're able then to give out to others, is priceless. You are restoring a lot of balance and love and peace and harmony within yourself, within others, within the planet, within the collective of humanity at large through this light code coming into you. And you could be, starting to work with this energy for the first time, or you could be somebody who is receiving this energy and you're anchoring it down into the earth plane for everybody. Now, secret temptation with inner peace. Again, this goes back to really trust yourself, what you're feeling, what resonates with you over all others. Like, don't let anybody tell you you're wrong or make you question yourself. You are receiving the guidance and information you need for you and your journey at this time, and just go with it. It will not lead you astray. And lastly, under Dark Night of the Soul with embracing, this is saying that if you're going through Dark Night of the Soul, it will be such an easier process for you if you just accept and embrace all it brings and ask Spirit to show you. It will be such a different journey. Those of you who are in a position more where you're going to be assisting others who are going through Dark Night of the Soul, you're going to help them embrace the process and make sense of it and welcome it so they can expand and show them who they're evolving into, in the end of all of this. So that's very beautiful. Now let's pull the shadow energies that are ultimately, being overcome or trying to be rewritten with these new light codes. And the one already jumped out. The temple of my body, that's coming out with Kundalini rising. Calming the storm. Is that calling? Yeah, calling the storm. Sorry. I was wanting to say calming, but it's calling the storm. Inner peace, calling the storm. And addicted, and that's card 11 too. So you've got 11. I am not surprised this showed up under Dark Night of the Soul. Okay. So this light code right here, what it's trying to rewrite is, a disconnection between physical self and spirit self, that full remembrance, because, even though I feel a lot of like the New Age movement and stuff diminishes the physical, and talks about how you're supposed to be this and that, and like we're gonna shift into like these light code beings and no longer need to eat and all this stuff. And I am not discounting that, but for me personally, I don't resonate with that, because the earth is a physical realm. There is purpose to it. And I feel with this, and look at that, that's card 2, that's card 22. So you got the 2 thing going on there, card 11, that's a beautiful synchronicity. That's card 31, and that's card 30. So that's like an elevation, a sequence of the next number. So there's a lot of number synchronicity coming through, but the 2 here is like the balance between the physical and the non-physical, and you understanding the connection between the 2 and the purpose of both, and both are sacred. Both are sacred. All of the physical could not exist without the spiritual. Like, it's all from source. Everything that you look at is a piece of source. It could not exist otherwise, just as you are a piece of source, or you would not exist otherwise. And so this full awakening and remembrance is that, like, bringing the physical and non-physical together, like that beautiful harmony, that seamless harmony, the honor of both, the understanding of both. Ooh, beautiful. So that's what this is overriding. And the hatred of the physical form, the physical insecurities we have about being too big or too small, or not enough of this or too much of that. It's all about falling in love with yourself. And I'm led back to that song, Love Me Like You Do, that Spirit was haunting me with before I started this reading. And I thought, that is a very weird song, Spirit. That's a romantic song attached to a pretty risque movie. Like, what are you doing to me? And then when I listened to it and got it in the context of, you know, your soul speaking to you, your consciousness like speaking to you, love yourself, awaken to yourself. Your physical is as divine as your spiritual is. It's hand in hand. And so this light code is really trying to overwrite this huge obsession we have with the physical form and it not being enough, loving it and honoring it for what it is, a reflection of spirit. Ultimately, it comes from source. All right. So, and in that space, there's just such a balance of happiness and peace and contentment that exists within. Over here, calling the storm with the secret temptation and the inner peace. This light code is really coming in to overwrite that internal conflict where you trust yourself, your intuition, your internal guidance over everybody and everything else. Anything that anybody offers you, myself included, is only information to trigger you, to activate you, to expand your consciousness, to help grow you, but never to tell you what to think or to create a belief system within you. All of those things, you know, the triggering, the activating facilitates the growth of your own belief system. All right. And so this light code is really overriding, trying to rewrite, overwrite that self-doubt, that disconnection between intuition and trusting that over anything else. And then lastly, over here, under this dark night of the soul, this light code coming in, the addicted, those of you that are assisting people, you know, each and every one of you are on different life paths, but those of you who are involved in like healthcare, mental health, you know, card readers, healers, just those of you that give your gift to help, elevate, heal, uplift, inform, all of those things, where this light code is coming in, where you're more of that assistant, you're going to really help people break patterns of behavior, repeating cycles in their life this year through your wisdom, through your divinity, through your knowledge. Do not underestimate what your kindness can do for others, what your wisdom can do for others, okay? It will set them free. It will help them understand what they're going through, and they'll realize that as painful as Dark Night of the Soul is, it is ripping away all addictions, all darkness that hold us down, keep us hostage, the prisoner within our own mental body. You guys are really going to be assisting in that. And those of you going through Dark Night of the Soul, here's Spirit just confirming that this dark night of the soul, this light code coming in for you, is to overwrite everything that is bad for you, like all the shadow energies, everything that no longer needs to be a part of your life journey moving forward, okay? It no longer serves a purpose. This dark night of the soul is going to rewrite all of that energy in your life. So that stuff is pretty deep and intense. These light codes, you know, coming through, just these few, but let's pull some tarot and keep going. And Dark Night of the Soul is not like a new light code, but the reason why it's showing up is because some of you are now going to be the helpers in getting people through this, and some of you watching this reading, it's like this is going to start beginning for you, and that's why it's coming through. And there are many purges, many like dark nights. I don't think they're worthy of being called a dark night, but they can be intense. So, you know, some of you who are more evolved, that could be the case. You could have like a little mini dark night of the soul. But again, same message. It's to purge you of something that no longer serves you. Okay, so we have the Two of Cups. And, you know, so we got 2, 2, 22. Next is the Ace of Cups. Death card. Chariot. Oh, I'm sorry. 8 of Wands. Just because the horses, I'm like, Chariot. Nope, 8 of Wands. And 7 of Swords. Okay. Overall, with these light codes, I have to say, there may be some shifting and changing with some relationships because we got the two going on a lot, and then we got the Ace of Cups, and then we got Death. So for me, that is definitely letting you guys know there is going to be shifting and changing in your relationships. Starting with these light codes at the beginning of the year. This is something that probably plays out throughout the year. You know, these light codes, they start 1/1, but it goes all the way to the end of the year. And so right here, there is going to be shifting to your relationships. Some relationships are shifting out. There's new relationships shifting in. This right here is an indication to me that it's time for soulmates, soul connections that are loving and supportive, and the connections and relationships in your life that do not serve you, those need to end, because look here. We have the Eight of Wands with the Seven of Swords. So this is where there's any sort of deception, darkness, betrayal in any of your connections or situations. It's going to come to light, and you're going to have the stamina, the endurance, the mental, the emotional strength to move on, to let it, you know, shift out of your life, because there are some beautiful new soulmate connections coming in. Some of you, this is friendships. Some of you, you know, spiritual companions on your journey. Others of you, this could be, you know, have to do with some romance, maybe even twin flame or blue flame, just depending on, you know, your personal life journey or how evolved you are at your soul. But there is shifting with relationships attached to these light codes coming in on 1/1. And just trust the process. What needs to fall away needs to fall away. But you know, partly the stuff that's falling away, I don't feel is like too like, you're not like, oh no, I don't want that to go, because you're waking up to a different part of yourself that, you know, you didn't really have access to before. And through that, you do change, and what you need out of relationships, what you desire out of relationships is also going to change. And so 2020, I do feel for all of you, this is a year where you're going to align to a soulmate or several soulmates it's going to be supportive, it's going to be loving, it's going to be spiritual based, which is everything that you need, okay? And it could be a friend, just somebody you work with at a spiritual level, or it could be romance. So, you know, that's the main energy also attached to these light codes. Let's pull some advice. And then we will make this into the interactive portion to see how the 111 activations of these 1/1 light codes are going to personally impact you. So we have decide. It's time for you to make a decision. Call upon your spirit guides for help. And this is waking up to who and what you really are. And, you know, for you guys, some connections, some relationships in your life you may be holding on to or entertaining just because of various reasons, and you don't know if they need to go or they can evolve with you. Ask your spirit guides. They will come in and help you. Next, we have music. Express yourself by playing an instrument or singing. Music will lift your spirits. This, to me, is really saying, go listen to that song that I mentioned at the start of this video. Separate all romantic meaning to it and think of it as from your spirit, like your soul, to you, to your physical you, your avatar who's experiencing this physical reality. Or some of you where this could be, you know, talking about this romantic connection coming in, that song could potentially talk about the depth of the love that you will create with this person. That feels really, really minute. Just want to put it out there because I do sense it a little, but that song feels more from like your spirit to you, and go listen to it. Next is holiday. It's time to go on that holiday that you have been dreaming about. Live life. This is letting you know, after you get through this dark night of the soul energy, there is a big time reward, and life will be good. All trouble you experience, all, you know, challenges, it will all pass. And what comes after that is a long period of like being on top of the wheel where you're happy more than you're sad. There's more good than there's bad. So just keep perspective of that, okay? And those of you, who are more assisting those along their dark night of the soul process, your love, your guidance, your wisdom is the energy they need to carry them through. It's renewing, it's refreshing like a vacation, okay? So those are the primary light codes that Spirit wanted to talk about in this reading. So let's pull some cards here to see, how these light codes are going to personally impact you when they're activated on 111. If I said 111 light codes, 11 light codes, I'm sorry, I keep getting mixed up in my head. These are feathers, so you need to decide which feather you're most drawn to. The feather you're drawn to is going to hold the message for you, and I'm going to pull other cards, obviously, about the activation of these light codes on 111 and how they will impact you. So here is the first feather. Let's take a look at it for a minute. Here's the second feather. And here's the third feather. So go ahead and decide which one you feel is calling out to you. And I will start with feather 1. If you were drawn to feather 2 or feather 3, go ahead to the timestamp below this video now. Alright, so let's take a look at this feather that you were drawn to and see, this activation on 111, what is being activated inside you the strongest out of these light codes. We have the crane, and it says you will soon enter into a beneficial partnership. Luck and longevity bless this union. Very nice. So, again, just depending on where you're at in your journey, in your evolution, there is somebody that is going to be joining with you after these light codes are activated within you, 111. That's when everything's getting activated. This person could come in around this time, or, after that. I feel it's probably in January-ish that you're going to, meet this person or align to this person. And this is somebody who is meant to walk with you for a while. You guys will have the, very similar beliefs. Your vibrations are similar. And there's a general sense of honor and integrity and respect that goes both ways. It's very mutual. It's a beautiful partnership. Excuse me. Some of you, this could also be where, if you do like spiritually based business, you could be partnering up with another, light worker, starseed, reader, psychic, medium, something along those lines, where you guys are doing some sort of project together. And, this could start in January, and it's just something you guys are working on all through 2020. Or some of you, this is like a new friend coming in. If you've been on your journey and you've been alone, not really connecting to a lot of people, there's a new like friend, spiritual companion that Spirit is aligning you to. And then lastly, some of you, this is a romantic union and partnership, but it has a lot to do with your spiritual mission this lifetime. Okay, so it's more significant. This is not this super troublesome relationship, things like that. This is a partnership that comes together when it comes into your life, and it's positive. Like, it's a good mutual connection. There's ups and downs and everything, but this is like an equal. I feel equal. It's very equal here. So that's that twin flame or the blue flame. It's very equal. Some others of you, these new light codes that are now activating inside of you, you are remembering like your wisdom, your understanding, your spiritual understanding of twin flame, of blue flame, of all connections, karmically, soul contracts, like all of it, what it truly means. So some of you, there's going to be this profound activation inside, and you're going to understand relationships. You're going to see them from a whole different context. And from that space, you start guiding people in a much different capacity, okay? So with this, let's see which archangel is coming in to work with you guys specifically through these portals in January, along with that full moon eclipse. So you have Archangel Metatron, Divine Intelligence. Not surprised to see this Archangel coming through to help you receive these light codes as well as activate them and then anchor them into the earth plane. You guys attracted to this first card, you're really waking up to like your ancient wisdom, your Akashic record. So you're going to have dreams. All kinds of weird stuff's going to just start popping up in your reality, and it might be new to you this lifetime, but there's going to be a sense of like you feel familiar with it. Like, I know this, but I don't know how. For me personally, I used to look at natal charts and I would just stare at them and I'm like, I understand this, I know this, but I had no idea what I was looking at or what it all meant back then. But I knew somewhere inside, like I knew that that was familiar to me. And through time, I activated and awakened, and now I understand. That's what I feel with this card for you guys is there's certain things that are going to start springing up in your reality, and it's because like you already know it. It's something you've already worked on in a previous lifetime, but now it needs to like shift into this life experience. It's becoming relevant for this life and your journey and your mission, all those things. So call upon Archangel Metatron. Also, Archangel Metatron helps those of you who are awakening to your spirituality and your spiritual gifts attached to that dark night of the soul. This is the angel that is going to get you through that. And those of you that are advising and guiding others, really direct them to Archangel Metatron to help them with their dark night of the soul journey. But you guys are awakening to that like Akashic information, all the experiences of your soul. And in this space, also because we have the partnership, this person that, Spirit's aligning you to, this new connection, you are going to remember like the lifetimes before that you've shared with this person. All right. Some of that's going to come through. So really pay attention to your dreams, signs, synchronicities, repeating information, and the sense that you pick up around any person or situation. Like if it feels familiar, it is. Explore it further. All right, let's pull a chakra card and see which chakra is most impacted through this activation. And I feel like expanded as well. Okay, you guys have the star soul chakra coming through, and you have divine wisdom. So I just have to point out the obvious here: divine intelligence with a book, divine wisdom with a book. Okay, yeah, you're really awakening to the wisdom of your soul, past life, and so any bit of new information and knowledge that's coming your way, look into it, read it. Even if you're like, oh, I could never believe this, it's not about that. It's not for you to like change your belief system. It's the activations and the triggering you will receive through reading that information or watching like a documentary, a show of some kind about, ancient cities and things along those lines. Just whatever it is for you, the Spirit's bringing your way. It's all showing up to help further activate you and this soul wisdom that it's like, it's always there. It's always been a part of you, but you haven't had access to it. And now with these light codes coming in and the activation on 111, it's like that information you now have access to. That part of your Akashic you have access to, and you need it for the next, bit of your journey. Some of you awakening, and some of you, this is for what you give out to humanity, okay? So powerful time for you guys. Expansion, activation also coming in at the star soul chakra for you guys. Okay, let's pull a spiritual path card and just see what else Spirit would like to add. Spiritual companion. So you got that twice going on. and you've got these cards mirroring each other. So yeah, whoever spirit is aligning you to, a new spiritual companion, mentor, friend, or romance, you guys are so perfectly matched. You guys mirror each other's energy, no question on that. Divine intelligence, divine wisdom, union, spiritual companion, there you go. So these new light codes and the way it activates you is really opening you up to everything we talked about, but also really strongly and significantly, as we picked up in the first part of the reading, before we went into the interactive parts, is there's a new spiritual connection that's meant to come into your life and part of your journey for this year, okay? So let's pull one final card. And this is your soul mana, your medicine, what you need to think about and reach for if you're feeling weary or down or sad, along with Archangel Metatron, is we are reflections of each other. All right, Spirit just won't stop. Whoever this person is that you're meeting, they are going to just be such a source of strength, love, encouragement, happiness, spiritual expansion for you. They're going to really get you through. And it goes the other way. You're going to be the same thing for them, okay? So those are the messages of how this, the light codes are going to come in and how they're going to be activated within you, and thus what comes after that. So, very beautiful for you guys. I am wishing you all the best. Take care. All right, let's take a look at this feather and see what that has to do with this 111 portal activating you and these new light codes. And you guys have the hawk, so this is highly spiritual. It says, pay attention. A powerful message is being communicated to you now. Ooh. All right, so the light codes are coming in on 1-1 and on 111. There is like a switch inside of you that's just being flipped on, and a lot of messages are going to start coming through for you. If you already receive messages, it's like your crown chakra is expanding, even more information, and also new spirit guides coming in to work with you. You've achieved a lot of soul evolution throughout 2019. And as we have this first lunar eclipse, there's a shifting taking place inside of you where you expand into all that soul wisdom and growth and evolution. And there's new spirit guides that are going to come in and start working with you. All right. So pay attention to your dreams, to signs, to synchronicities, information that you're channeling, all of it. Write it down. Don't discount anything. The way that you're being activated, some of you, it's like you're waking up to your spiritual gifts for the first time. Like you're really like growing into them. They could have always been there, but it's like the next level, a nice expansion to that area of yourself. So let's pull a archangel and see which archangel is coming in to work with you with these new light codes, as well as the activation. We got Archangel Michael, and we've got enchantment. Nice. Archangel Michael is, going to bring you profound truth, empower you spiritually, and protect you spiritually. This archangel coming in, since you're elevating and you're expanding, you've got to understand those who vibrate in a much lower space than you. The more you rise, some of them will be inspired and attracted to your light. Others of them will be repelled and offended by your light. And so Archangel Michael comes in to protect you from those lower vibrations as you expand, because when you are focused on yourself and you are vibrating in a good space, all of those little psychic attacks and negative energies that are projected, they cannot affect you, especially with Archangel Michael coming in to protect you. So there's a rising of you, and you see all of this purple. That's the expansion to that crown chakra that we picked up on with the hawk right there. You are going to be so on point, so on fire with the messages, the intuitive promptings, the foresight that you have. Seriously, do not discount yourself. Trust yourself. write it down, because some of this stuff isn't going to make sense to you right away. But as you move through 2020, you'll be like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So this 111 activation is really like an opening of your crown chakra to better receive, future light codes throughout the year. But also this, how do I explain this? Because I know some of you are already spiritually gifted and talented and quite aware of that, but the way that you go about it, like what you do, what you bring, your vibe, it's very unique. It's very enchanting. Don't underestimate the power of your words or the influence of your energy. And the more that you choose to project that, for the use of good, which I don't think anybody watching this reading would choose to use it otherwise, but I just have to say that, like, the more you are choosing to turn away from, the lower vibration energies that are trying to come at you because your light, your energy offends them, it's so empowering. I feel like you have been trying to, like, please everybody. Like, you don't want to offend, you don't want to step on a toe, you're trying to be PC, just very aware of everybody, wanting everybody to be happy, not wanting to rock the boat whatsoever. And now, because of what's activating inside of you, Archangel Michael's like, no, it's time for you to be as big as you are. It's time for you to speak your voice. It's time for you to shine your energy out to all, because you're powerful, you're activated, you're going to the next level. Like, you are elevating, your crown chakra is expanding. So call upon Archangel Michael to really empower you and to bring you any sort of truth that you may be missing. I mean, I don't think you can possibly miss it, but when it's about ourselves personally, like, I can pick up on information for other people like that, no thing. But when it comes to me, myself, I'm like, right? And so some of you, you may be in that struggle a little bit. Call upon Archangel Michael, and he will really help sort things out so that you do know what is the guidance coming to you, opposed to, like, your own thinking and projections. All right. So let's pull a chakra card. And this was, the chakra that I see as being activated. So we already know the crown chakra is receiving an activation. Let's see what else Spirit would like to bring out. Ooh, we've got the heart chakra going on, and we have forgiveness coming through. So as you receive these light codes, and I see this as like the dark night of the soul, a lot of which you've been through, the residual emotional baggage you may still hold on to, you're about to be healed, okay? Through this evolution, because you guys attracted to this card, I really feel like you guys are evolving, like you've done a lot of work and you're evolving through all the different portals throughout 2020. It starts on 1/1, but you're evolving, and through that evolution you shed, right? Because you're rising, and it's like you've got sadnesses and heartaches and scars in your heart from everything you've been through. And so part of this activation for you guys is healing to the heart space. Archangel Michael is going to help with that, bringing in that truth and that clarity. And, those of you who are going through dark night of the soul, with this, heart chakra coming through as being activated, you're finally going to start coming into a lot of understanding about why certain things didn't work and why certain things had to happen. And as painful and as hard as it was, like, how you've grown and how you've evolved, and certain things that are shifting and falling out of your life, finally coming into a place of acceptance. And like, I'm happy that that's no longer a part of me or a part of my journey. It wouldn't serve me moving forward. So not only are you guys getting a big activation to the crown chakra, you're also getting an activation to the heart chakra, which is a deep healing taking place where you are where you are finally able to like forgive and forget, release, let go, and you just rise. All right, let's take a look here at the spiritual path oracle and see what else Spirit would like to bring out about this activation. And the divine messages, don't forget that. That's coming through really strong. You are a divine messenger throughout 2020, and the 111 activation is going to bring you quite into that awareness. Okay, wow. So you guys have spiritual companion coming out. The first reading, the first card actually got spiritual companion too, and we did see at the start of the reading when I pulled the tarot cards that, you know, for many of you there was new relationship coming in, whether friend, spiritual companion, or romance. Now, with this forgiveness and the activation taking place in the heart chakra as well as the crown chakra, there is also a new relationship coming in for you guys. Just as we saw in, you know, the main read for everybody with the light codes, that this here, the activation is just a confirmation of that there is going to be somebody new coming in, and this could be just like, you know, a spiritual companion that you guys talk about, spirit. This could be a spiritual mentor to you. This could be just a new friend that's coming into your life, and you guys are going to get along really well. It's going to be loving, it's going to be supportive, it's spiritually based. Even if they're not like a super spiritually based person, you guys connect at the soul, and so there's just a natural honor and respect that happens in that space. And then, you know, lastly, some of you, this is a romantic connection. It could be twin flame, it could be blue flame, or it could just be a soulmate who is going to be very significant along your journey for now, help you heal your heart, help you let go of your past, help you activate and rise even more in connection with spirit. Okay, so for you guys, spiritual companion, strong message as well, coming through with this activation that's taking place inside of you, allowing you to release the past, to forgive, to heal, whether it's a person or situation or just a lot of what you've been going through, you know, releasing that, coming through with Archangel Michael as well, with the mighty sword cutting you free so that you can rise, so that you can be elevated. Also very protected, truths coming to light. Pay attention, don't discount them, okay? Archangel Michael giving you a lot of insight right now, and as you connect to that more and more and you trust that more and more, it allows that crown chakra to expand even wider and for you to receive more information. Okay, so let's pull another card. And this is your soul mana or your spiritual medicine. Hope and love are always within your reach, and that's what you're stepping into through this 1-1 new light codes and this 111 activation. Life's going to be very different, and you see that little flower, that yellow flower right there on her doorstep, and here's two hands exchanging a yellow flower. No matter what this is, you know, spiritual companion, romance, mentor, you know, you all are going to start out as friends with that yellow, and this is going to be a very empowering relationship and connection for you 100%, and help heal any residual emotional baggage you may be carrying inside of you. And most important message here is really pay attention to your dreams, to the messages that are coming to you, that your channeled messages, your insights. Write it all down if it doesn't make sense right now, because you are receiving from spirit 100%. Okay, and some of you, these light codes that are coming in, you're gonna get deeper messages about them, what they mean for you, what they mean for other people, that even what I'm getting right now, and you're meant to share that, you know, take this message even further than what I've brought forth. So just keep that in perspective and don't hold back. Share all you know. And you know, this relationship coming in is so blessed. It's a soulmate, and you know, the way it plays out different for all of you, but it is definitely a soulmate. Love, honor, and respect shared between the two of you. So those are your messages. I'm wishing you all the best. Take care. Okay, so let's take a look and see what your feather has to offer. We have the chickadee, and it says, the time is right to release old patterns and energies. You are ready to embrace change. So this is very powerful activation to go along with the dark night of the soul energy right there. And even those of you who may be more assisting others through the dark night of the soul, you may have a little mini version of it yourself. There may be, a pattern of yours, a relationship or something that you finally have to evolve beyond and leave in the past, put to rest, like it can't move forward with you anymore. Okay, but the main activation coming through these new light codes for you guys is to release old patterns and rise into new perceptions, new ways of doing things, new energies, releasing the old, just a whole new shiny version of you. And, all of you, I know some of you have already been through this dark night of the soul energy, but this card coming out as, the primary thing for your activation with these new light codes tells me that all the work that you have done, all the soul evolving, all the life lessons, just everything, you have not reached the full peak of which you were meant to evolve into from the initial dark night of the soul process that you have been through. So there is a really nice expansion coming through the 111 activation for you guys, where you do finally like shake and shed all these old residual energies and finally fully evolve and expand into all the work and soul evolution that you've been doing. So this is powerful. Honestly, out of the three choices, this one feels the most powerful and like changing, super attached to those eclipse energies with that Cancer full moon, but also the other eclipses that play out through 2020. There's just these constant like enlightenments and expansions taking place within you with every eclipse that moves through 2020. So wow, for you guys, with the chickadee coming out, you are in for a powerful year. And those of you who are going into that dark night of the soul, on the other side of that is the life that you desire, that you came here to experience, the person that you've always wanted to be. It is on the other side of that dark night of the soul journey. I promise you, especially with this, it is time for every one of you that were drawn to this card to release old patterns. Just let them fall away. You know what doesn't serve you. You know which relationships don't honor you, don't appreciate you. It doesn't matter the emotional attachment or the history. It's time for you to allow the shedding of what does not serve you so you can evolve into what is owed to you, what you've worked so hard to achieve, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and some of you in the physical realm, certain manifestations where it's time for it to unfold right now, today. All right, so let's pull an archangel and see which archangel is trying to come through to help you out with this new light codes and activation. And you don't know if you could hear that, but my daughter's alarm is sounding in the background. She's got to get up for work, and I take that to be something very synchronistic for you guys. The alarm bells are sounding. It's time to fully awaken. And who do we have? Archangel Gabriel coming out to help you achieve balance as you navigate dark night of the soul energies, as you help assist others moving through dark night of the soul, but also this final purge for every one of you, this final purge of these old residual energies that it's over. It does not, you are so different. Like, by the end of next year, you'll be just fine of whatever you had to shed. You'll be like, oh, thank goodness that happened, because I am so much better for it. You'll get to see that, why you're so much better for it, because sometimes it doesn't come, or by the time it comes, it doesn't matter anymore, right? You will get to see why. Archangel Gabriel really trying to help keep you balanced and centered through everything you are experiencing and going through with these new light codes and the activation that comes afterwards. Also, Archangel Gabriel being the messenger of God, you guys really pay attention to, what you're feeling, what you're sensing, information that's just coming to you, thoughts that just kind of keep popping in your head out of nowhere, out of nowhere. That's Archangel Gabriel really trying to speak to you, give you messages. Some of you, just depending on where you are, how far evolved you are, you recognize it 100% for what it is. And he's just giving you a confirmation that it's him and he's working with you. So at any time you feel weary, call upon him and he will remind you. He will show you the bigger picture. And, for others of you, he's trying to come in and create a relationship with you to keep you connected to the higher realm as you, go through different life lessons and experiences that evolve your soul that are a little bit heavy and challenging, to call upon him to keep you strong, to keep you focused, to keep you seeing, the long term of everything, how it all connects, and, receiving messages from your spiritual team the whole time through. So call upon this archangel. He's coming in so strong for you guys. Let's pull a card to see which chakra is going to be activated, through this 111 portal and activation, the one that's going to be most affected anyways. Oh, okay. So you guys have the solar plexus chakra coming out, and you have creativity also coming through. And this card right here is very blue, and there's blue here, and then we got a little blue there. We got orange, and then some yellow, and that may look black, but it's actually a really dark blue color up there. So blue and orange and yellow are most significant of color scheme coming through. So for chakra wise, there is an activation coming to your your sacral chakra. If I said solar plexus, forgive me. Sacral chakra, your second chakra. There's an activation coming in with this, new light codes and the 111 portal. However, with that activation, there is an empowerment coming to your solar plexus as well as your throat chakra. So you are really being pushed forward to speak your truth, to discover your truth, to see the falsity and lies through others' words, no matter how beautifully they speak them, okay? Where you sense the vibration of dishonesty right from the start. That's what's coming in for you guys. And no matter how advanced you are, there's a huge expansion coming to you in those three chakras for sure. And now the main thing here being the sacral chakra, that's your divine feminine energy, your nurturing, your creativity, your compassion, your empathy. Some of you, the way you pick up on things, intuit things, also attached to your sexuality. And then the solar plexus chakra is the divine masculine energy, your personal empowerment, where you manifest from, where you channel energies from the universe, okay? So those two chakras, divine feminine, divine masculine, the yin and yang, and you see it here with the balance of Archangel Gabriel coming in. That's what's happening inside of you, and it takes place due to the activation to the sacral chakra. And as those two chakras are balanced and more vibing, the truth, the throat chakra, it's time for your voice to be heard. It's time for you to speak your truth. It's time for you to say what you know, but also in the same turn of that, it's time for you to be told a lot of new information, a lot of things you've never heard before. It's time for you to hear the truth of yourself, to see the truth of yourself for the good and for the bad, because it's time to break patterns and purge and release so that you can rise and evolve into new energy. Powerful. All right, let's pull another card here and see what else Spirit would like to add. Religions. Okay. Some of you, if you're more in the awakening process, You may be finding that you're pulling away from your current religious beliefs, and that might frighten you, that might scare you a little bit. Call upon Archangel Gabriel to give you signs and synchronicity and confirmation of what the right path is for you, what the right belief system is for you, because this is also about breaking, old patterns, old energies, old ideas. And so some of you, it's time to evolve into a different belief in regards to spirituality, life after death, all of those things. Also, others of you, Spirit is really encouraging you to look into other religions, like all religions, really educate yourself, the history of religion. And I can tell you guys, for me personally, I'm right there. Spirit is teaching me so much about religion right now and the basis. And I'll tell you, it came to me once Atlantis started showing up in my life. And then from there, it's just been all kinds of information, but religion, understanding each and every religion, the differences, the similarities, all of it. So some of you, Spirit's leading you to that as well. I'm in the process, so I can't tell you the end result of it yet. But what I can tell you is that it's ultimately to really expand you and to awaken, different aspects of your Akashic, because, the more evolved of a soul you are, you have been many different religions throughout your lifetimes. You've practiced, you've studied many different religions. And so it's part of your Akashic. And as you explore these religions this lifetime, it awakens those memories from your soul, and that information pulls through into the now to serve you right now. You've already done the work. So some of you, this is like you are awakening. Some of you, you are going to be learning brand new stuff that you need to understand to connect certain dots of stuff religious, spiritual, as well as unrelated. Okay. And others of you, I do feel like you're breaking out of your current spiritual belief system or religious belief system that you've been operating and working under for quite some time, because breaking patterns, out of the 3 readings, you guys have the biggest shifting of energy. Obviously, I mean, with this coming through, your readings running longer. You have multiple chakras coming through as far as being activated in an expanded way, which is going to ultimately shift and change how you experience reality, how you perceive, expansion to your spiritual gifts and awakening to your spiritual gifts, but also Archangel Gabriel coming in to help you create balance and maintain balance as all these shifts and changes are taking place for you. But it's all for the good, obviously, because what's on the other side of all of this is exactly what you want, what you're hoping for. So let's pull. Oh, okay. Well, I was going to pull some advice, but it says we are reflections of each other. And what that's telling you, one thing is the balance that is taking place inside of you, okay? Because reflections, then you got the divine feminine, divine masculine chakra coming through, Archangel Gabriel talking about balance. So this here is, talking about the balance as you shift and explore this energy right here, let go of old patterns, let shift and change what needs to change in your life, situations, beliefs, circumstances, relationships, whatever needs to shift and change, allowing that with a grace, with an ease, with the flow, calling upon Archangel Gabriel. Anytime you feel afraid, weary, unsure, he will come in, he will remind you, he will give you confirmation, okay? But also, some of you, the message we picked up on at the beginning of the reading, the first bit of cards that I pulled, where we saw some relationship through the tarot coming in, there's a relationship that is going to be significant for you guys. I don't know that this is coming in with the 1-1 activation or the 1-1 light codes or the 111 activation, because the first 2 readings got the spiritual companion card specifically. I don't know that your guys' relationship is showing up in January. I feel this comes more at a different point in the year, whether it's February, July, or October, okay? But Spirit is acknowledging that. And again, this relationship could just be a really good friend, a spiritual companion, a spiritual mentor, or this could be romance. But all the work and shifting that's taking place right now is essentially a preparation to align you to that connection, all right? And Archangel Gabriel working with you right now through January with these new light codes and the activation to keep that balance within you, keep you grounded so you don't lose sight of yourself or like the bigger picture, what it's all for. So you guys definitely, there's a lot of shifting and changes that are taking place, but it is ultimately for your highest good. And there's a lot of happiness up ahead. Like January might be a little challenging, but February, March, April, it's a breath of fresh air is what I feel coming in for you guys, okay? So those are your messages for the third card. I'm wishing you all the best. Take care.